It's like deja vu all over again. The Kansas City Royals win the World Series, proving that it's not always about the biggest and baddest. Sometimes it's about those committed to the process. Hey everybody, it's Ed the Trainer, and that's what we'll talk about next on this week's Tips on Tuesday. So it was about a year ago that we talked about the process that the Kansas City Royals play by moving the runner, next base, the process that they stay committed to. Next man up, next man in the line, move the line, the next man in the process. Just get on base and move the lineup along. You've seen this now in 2 consecutive post-series successes from this Kansas City Royals baseball team. The Kansas City Royals win the World Series this year, by being the first team in Major League Baseball history since the 1950s to score only 2 runs as a result of home runs during a World Series and win the title. Also, the Royals become the first team to trail 3 times after the 8th inning or later and come back and win, outscoring the Mets 15-1 in the 7th inning or later in the 5 games of the World Series. Over the entirety of the playoffs, the Royals outscore their opponents 7th inning or later 55-11 through all of the games of the 2015 postseason. Not with your typical home run hitting superstars. Not with your typical lights out starting pitching staff, but instead with a bullpen who did its job and understood that if they could keep the team in the game in the late innings, the opportunities would continue to present themselves should the Royals batters continue to stay loyal to the process. Just get a bat on the ball, put it in play, and make the other team make plays. Force their opponents to execute the fundamentals as well as the Royals did. Unfortunately for the Mets, not quite as successful. As a result, you've got a world champion in the Kansas City Royals who won the series 4-1, but trailed in all of the 4 games before ultimately prevailing. Now, if you've watched regularly, you know I'm a big sports guy, and I believe there's a lot of life that we can see in our sports examples. And in this week's Kansas City Royals World Championship, we see another example of staying focused on the process, staying focused on the fundamentals, the basics, and executing over and over and over and over again can result in tremendous success. So this week, let's focus on the details. Let's focus on refining the process and make it repeatable so we can make it excellent. So a World Series based question of the week. Maybe you're not a baseball person, maybe not a sports person whatsoever, but if you do have some World Series memories, what's your favorite? What's your most memorable? Unfortunately, most memorable for me is the 1979 World Series, where the Baltimore Orioles were overtaken by the Pittsburgh Pirates after blowing out to a 3-1 lead in the series, only to be overcome by Willie Stargell and those Pirates in a 4-3 World Series loss. Let me know what your favorite is, and we'll choose from amongst the entries this week for a special surprise. Thanks for joining me, guys, for just a couple of minutes here today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.